Yo, what's going on? I don't come over here too often, but today I want to bring up a topic because I've been driving today, this morning, and I'm gonna be 30 next year, right? So I've been having these philosophical conversations and thoughts to myself. Those thoughts that we start having when we reach a certain age, about purpose and what I was put on this earth to do, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking. I'm always trying to figure out what's next for myself. I guess that just comes in my DNA, just being an ambitious person. But, man, so many things I want to just bring to the table, you know what I'm saying? But really, I've been doing this truck driving for going on 8 years. I'm 28 now. I'll be 30 next year, right? And it has taught me a lot. I've had a lot of experiences. I've had some ups and downs. But for the most part, despite it all, the outcome of doing this was positive because it kept me out of financial hardship. It kept me grounded. It held me accountable. It made me responsible. It made me independent. So I give hats off to this career that I chose for kind of helping mold me into the man that I am today, as corny as it might sound. However, I will say, though, who I am as a person stretches beyond this truck. Who I am as a person is more than the driver's seat of this truck. You know what I'm saying? I've mastered this. I can do this with my eyes closed, literally. You know what I'm saying? So I got it in my pocket. But I've always been a multifaceted person. I've always been somebody's like, okay, what else can I do? You know what I'm saying? What else? What other skill? What other this? What other that can I get under my belt to say that I've done or that I can do? So that's kind of where I am in life. Just finding that purpose now. I'm bigger than what I'm doing right now. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and I'm gonna continue to do it as long as I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Until I can elevate or move on or go to the next thing, because this is a stepping stone. But I've always been a multifaceted individual since I was a kid. I always saw myself being able to do this. I always saw myself being able to driving this truck was something I always wanted to do since I was a kid. But I also saw myself in that nursing nursing scrubs. I also see myself at a desk somewhere. I also see myself, when I was a kid, I swore I was going to be an entertainer, you know what I'm saying? So I always saw myself doing multiple things. I was raised by an amazing grandmother who never told me that I couldn't be what I wanted to be, whether it was a garbage truck driver, whether it was a dancer, a singer, or a nurse, or a truck driver. My grandmother never told me, no, you cannot do this. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I was allowed to dream. I was allowed to, be anything that I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Because you could ask my aunts and uncles when they would come over to the house. One day, RJ, you might come over on a Monday. RJ gonna have a fake office set up in the corner where he taking clients at his lawyer's office. You know what I'm saying? You might come back on Tuesday or Wednesday. You come back in. Now, RJ done got a glitter glove on, some glitter socks, some old, they wasn't even penny loafers. They was just some church congregation shoes. Now he moonwalking across the carpet, performing for a wall, but imagine if those are thousands of people. And then you'll come over on the weekend. Oh no, you come over on Friday, and RJ got the Logitech PlayStation steering wheel set up because now he driving an 18-wheeler. You know what I'm saying? And then you come over on Sunday, and RJ just on a video game. He done lost all hope. He done lost all ambition. No, I'm just saying. I'm just playing. But, man, it's just so much that you have to think about as you approach the age of 30. 30 is older than you think that it is. I mean, it's not old. Don't get me wrong, but it's older than you think that it is. And I do feel like if you don't always have to have it all the way figured out by now. But if you don't have an idea of the direction you want to go in your life, or if you don't have anything to show for the last few years, of your 20s that you've been living, any progression, then you're doing something wrong. But yeah, I've just been thinking about that. Like, what's next? I've outgrown what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And maybe not the truck driving as a whole, You know what I'm saying? But maybe just how I'm doing it, the capacity that I'm doing it. You know, so that's that. Another thing I was thinking about this morning too was how much I would rather, and it kind of ties into the first topic, is how much I would rather be able to live comfortably over being rich. You know what I'm saying? Rich is obtainable, wealth is obtainable, but being comfortable is even more obtainable and sustainable. And it might bring you even more happiness than the other thing. Because see, the thing is, we look at money, right? We look at these rich people. They got the cars, they got the houses, they got the wives, they got the husbands, they got the children, they got everything, what you may think. But we must remember too that these people are not exempt from everyday life problems and troubles just because they have money. They still have children that are disobedient. They still run into financial hardships. They still do drugs. They still delete themselves, so forth and so on. So they're not exempt. So you have to understand or ask yourself, while I'm sitting here glorifying money, worshiping money, does it really make a difference? Is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? I would much rather be an individual who could pay my bills, right? Take care of the people that depend on me, my children, my significant other, anything else in between there, right? And then still have money left over to have a comfortable lifestyle. Maybe doing a little traveling, going to see some places that I want to see, and just being happy like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't need the mansion. I don't need the thousands of cars parked in my driveway. Now, don't get me wrong, that would be nice, right? But you don't need that to be happy. Because if money, that tangible thing, is something that controls your mood, controls your happiness, controls how you treat other people, then trust me, something is wrong. I don't want to take away from the fact that money is important. It makes the world go round. We need it for things as simple as, buying something to eat for the night, and then something as major as using it as a stepping stone or using it as something to fund a venture, a business. Yeah, we need it. But it's about how you worship it. It's about how you glorify it. It's about how you use it. That determines the importance of it. You know what I'm saying? Now I haven't made millions of dollars, but I made decent amount of money, especially when I had my own business, my own truck and stuff like that. And because of my irresponsibility, I lost it. Right? I could have been so much further in my career. I could have done things so much differently and been to the moon by now, right? And sometimes I hold that against myself. But ever since then, I really look back now and look at the lesson that it taught me, which was money is not as important as we think it is. It can come and it can go. You know what I'm saying? But who you are as a person remains. That's the real. You know what I'm saying? So, also, I would like to add, because I seen this video a few weeks ago, and this guy was talking about how there's a difference between being wealthy and being rich. Now, if I could be wealthy, that's comfortable. I'm cool with that. Feel me? But being rich is not what you think. You got to break it down. Being rich, you got a few $1 million, but you have no foundation. You got a few $1 million, but if you lose it, that's it. You can't leave nothing when you go. You can't set up no generational wealth. You're rich when you invest into materialistic things. Cars, houses, these chains and watches and these glamorous things. That's rich. But being wealthy is the opposite. Being wealthy is you're having generational. I can pass this down. I have something for my kids. I can leave something for my children. You know what I'm saying? Wealth is, I started something from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? I went out there and I put in the legwork. I put in the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? I made this dream become a reality because I put in the work. I built this thing from the ground up. I had to deal with the blisters on my hand, the blood on my hands, the sleepless nights, the tears. I had to deal with my wife calling me, and this is not me because I'm not married, but I had to deal with my wife calling me and just telling me, you know, I miss you, I need you home. I had to deal with the mental thoughts of me wanting to just give it all up and say forget it, because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. I don't see the outcome. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then when you actually stick to it and something grows from it, you know, it turns into something. That's wealth. I would much rather have wealth. I would much rather be comfortable, you know what I'm saying, than to be rich, you know. So you have to ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because most of you guys that follow me are the same age as me, in your 30s and stuff like that. Ask yourself this morning, what is your purpose? Ask yourself this morning, what is your point? What are you on this earth to do? I want you to look at the people around you. I want you to look at your circumstance. If you feel that you're meant to do more, then more than likely you are meant to do more. And that's how I'm feeling right now. Like I said, I have more in me left than to just be doing what I'm doing right now, you know, at this magnitude. And who knows what the next chapter is? Who knows if it's going to get another truck and running it responsibly? Who knows if it's going back to school? Who knows? But one thing that I always do is pray about it and ask for guidance. And some things are just give it up. You know, give it up and wait for the answer to present itself, the opportunity to present itself. You know what I'm saying? But that's that. I know this video was long, but I was just thinking about that, y'all. I was just thinking about that because I always told myself as a kid, I always want to be in a position to I just want to always be successful. That don't mean running $1 million business, but that just means being comfortable, being stable. And God has allowed that for me, you know, to be stable right now. But I know that I can be even more stable. You know, I can really be even more of a positive, like I said earlier, a positive story, a positive product in my environment, a positive example. That's just how I feel. But I want to get back on this YouTube thing, you know what I'm saying, and start making videos again. I'm gonna see how this video turns out. I want to start you know, making videos again, making these motivational conversations, and also doing the normal trucking vlogs too. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like influence is everything. You know, there might be a young guy out there that wants to become a truck driver, but they don't have anybody to influence them in a positive way. And there's many of y'all out there, don't get me wrong, but if I can be one of them, I could. You know, there might be a young guy out there that's going through something or went through something that I went through, and I could be that shining light for him. You just never know where your presence is needed, whether that's on social media or whether that's even more importantly in real life. That's the most important part. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, y'all. Until next time, peace.